And now, the best 60-ish seconds of your week. This week saw the Supreme Court of the United States hearing oral arguments on what could be a landmark case involving a Mississippi statute that would basically curtail abortions after 15 weeks. And the case really laid open the far left's position on abortion, because for years they've been telling us that they wanted abortion to be safe, legal, and rare, because they believed that that was politically where most people were. Even the pro-choice advocates thought that abortion should be rare. But throughout their arguments, they basically said, we can't have it be rare. And so the court appears to be poised to uphold the Mississippi statute. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. They'll have a straw poll vote within the court. They'll assign the case to a specific justice to write an opinion. There may be multiple opinions, and their decision will be announced sometime in the future. But watching Planned Parenthood's reaction to the oral arguments was very interesting. The Keystone Planned Parenthood Federation said that justice cannot be served until every person is in charge of their own body. I'm wondering if they believe that to be the case with mask and vaccine mandates as well. And even CNN couldn't hold up on this one. Chris Cuomo is gone, at least temporarily. He finally admitted, well, I guess he admitted previously to CNN that he had violated their rules by giving his embattled brother counsel while he was still on the air, but CNN kind of looked the other way. And then they were deluged with evidence that it went far beyond what Chris Cuomo had actually told them. But didn't they see this coming 100 miles away? It was very obvious that Chris Cuomo and others who propped up brother governor of New York as a great hero over the COVID epidemic, and then watched him fall from grace precipitously and rapidly while Chris Cuomo on the air was giving him advice behind the scenes. Cuomo gone. Let's hope for good. And as you know, we've been having a little inside contest to see who is the most arrogant member of the Biden cabinet. And we've said it, Merrick Garland and Secretary Mayorkas have been running neck and neck, but although he technically isn't part of the Biden cabinet, can anyone argue that Anthony Fauci takes the cake? I mean, this guy is really unbelievable. If you watched his interview over the weekend, and I'm hoping you didn't, he actually came out and said, I represent science, i.e. I am science. It is unbelievable what he said. Chris Stigall, the noted, and some would say iconic, Philadelphia radio talk show host, said that the comments made by Fauci are the epitome of megalomaniac. Spot on, Chris Stigall. You're absolutely right. Here's a guy that makes millions of dollars, the highest paid person in the entire federal government essentially, has been wrong so many times, lied to Congress, and yet still gets propped up by the media every single day. It really is hard to believe. And Joe Biden speaks and the markets tumble. Midweek, Joe Biden had a little press conference, something he rarely does, and the markets were riding along just fine until he spoke, and then they plummeted on his words about the economy, because frankly, nobody's buying what he has to say. The week ended about 1,500 points down on a very weak jobs report, which the Biden administration also tried to spin into some sort of great success. They're telling the American people that gas prices haven't gone up dramatically. They're telling us that inflation isn't where we know it is. They're telling us that our food prices are stable. They're telling us that home heating costs aren't going to be dramatically up this winter. Nobody is buying it. And as a result, the markets are reacting. They see inflation on the horizon. In fact, they see it right here and now. And the Biden economy continues to tumble. Let's hope that it turns around, because as we've said so many times, the market isn't the economy and the economy isn't the market. But the economy does rest on individual families and what they're deciding at their kitchen tables. And right now, there's a great deal of legitimate concern about where we're going from here. And here at home in Pennsylvania, the Public Utility Commission this week warned consumers that in some parts of the state, energy prices for home heating might rise as much as 50% this winter. They blamed it on quote-unquote market forces. But our friend Nick DeIuliis from CNX Resources told us something different. He said, no, it's because of public policies that have driven up costs, reduced supply, while at the same time having a state with the most abundant, most cost-effective, and one of the cleanest sources of energy in natural gas right here beneath our feet. He blames it on out-of-control climate policy, and we happen to think he's right. And Tom Wolf once again used his veto pen to scratch out the manifest wishes of the people of Pennsylvania expressed through their representatives in the General Assembly on a constitutional right to carry piece of legislation that passed his desk this week. One more reason why we need a new governor in Pennsylvania. The voice of the people will then once again be heard, and our safety ensured and increased as a result. And this week we are going to note December 7th, a day that always will, as President Roosevelt said at the time, live in infamy. But the rest of his speech was something that we should also remember, because he said the American people, in their righteous might, would ultimately win through. And I believe that today, as we face so many crises here at home, domestically, with public policies that are failing us terribly, that the American people ultimately will win through. And for now, that is the best 60-ish seconds of your week.